Ladies and gentlemen, our bodies are designed with remarkable intelligence, and every function within us carries meaning, purpose, and balance. Today, we are stepping into a conversation that many shy away from. It holds profound importance for every man's health and vitality. We are going to explore what really happens to the prostate when a man masturbates every single day. Is it harmful? Is it beneficial? Or is it simply misunderstood? The truth is, science provides us with fascinating insights that not only challenge old myths, but also give men the power to make informed choices about their health. This is not a topic of shame, nor is it a taboo. It is a topic of biology, of human design, and of the silent organ called the prostate that plays an essential role in male wellness. The prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, located just below the bladder. Its primary function is to produce seminal fluid, the liquid that nourishes and protects sperm during ejaculation. At first glance, it may seem like a simple part of the male reproductive system, but in reality, it is a powerhouse of functions deeply connected to a man's urinary health, sexual health, and long-term vitality. When we talk about masturbation and its relationship with the prostate, we are essentially talking about how stimulation and release influence the gland's health on a daily basis. Many men, especially in their younger years, find themselves engaging in this practice regularly, sometimes even daily. And the burning question is, what does this habit do to the prostate over time? Let us begin with what science has uncovered. Numerous studies have shown that regular ejaculation, whether through sexual intercourse or masturbation, can actually have protective effects on the prostate. One of the key findings is that men who ejaculate frequently are at a lower risk of developing prostate cancer later in life. Why is that so? Imagine the prostate as a gland that stores fluid. If the fluid remains stagnant for too long, it can create an environment where toxins, old cells, and potentially harmful compounds build up. Regular release acts as a flushing mechanism, cleaning the system, keeping the gland healthier, reducing the chances of inflammation or cellular damage. This means that daily masturbation, instead of harming the prostate, may actually help maintain its vitality by ensuring that the gland does not become congested. However, it is not just about reducing cancer risk. Daily stimulation of the prostate through ejaculation also improves blood circulation in the pelvic area. Just as exercise keeps muscles toned and blood flowing, ejaculation stimulates the gland and surrounding tissues, keeping them active and nourished. This is particularly important because the prostate, like any other organ, thrives when there is good circulation. With better blood flow, oxygen, and nutrients are delivered more effectively. Waste products are cleared more efficiently, and overall function improves. In other words, masturbation acts like a small workout for the gland. But of course, moderation and balance are key. Science shows benefits, but it also cautions us against extremes. While daily release can be healthy for many men, compulsive masturbation driven by stress, anxiety, or addiction can create psychological strain. The line is simple. When the habit serves health and balance, it is a positive practice. When it becomes an escape from reality, it begins to affect mental well-being, relationships, and daily life. The prostate itself may not suffer direct harm from daily ejaculation, but the mind and body must always work together in harmony. A healthy lifestyle means integrating this practice into a broader context of physical activity, nutrition, sleep, and emotional balance. Another important change that occurs in the prostate with daily release is the reduction of inflammation. Prostatitis, or inflammation of the prostate, is a common condition that affects men, often causing pain, urinary difficulties, or discomfort in the pelvic area. Regular ejaculation helps reduce the chances of fluid buildup, which in turn lowers the risk of inflammation. Think of it as preventing stagnation. Just as flowing water is fresh, while stagnant water breeds problems, the prostate benefits when its fluids are released regularly. Now, let's consider hormones, particularly testosterone and prostate health. Testosterone is the hormone of vitality, strength, and drive, but it is also linked to prostate growth. The relationship is delicate. Some men fear that frequent ejaculation may deplete testosterone or weaken their virility. But research shows otherwise. Masturbation does not cause long-term depletion of testosterone. In fact, helps regulate hormonal balance by allowing the body to release sexual tension and maintain normal function. The prostate responds positively when hormonal signals remain stable, and stability comes from healthy sexual activity rather than suppression. Another fascinating aspect is the mental and emotional relief that comes with release. Stress is one of the hidden enemies of prostate health. Chronic stress raises cortisol levels, disrupts sleep, and weakens immune function, all of which can indirectly affect the prostate. Masturbation, when practiced healthily, reduces stress hormones, promotes relaxation, and improves sleep quality. Better sleep means better recovery, better hormone regulation, and ultimately, better prostate health. So, in a way, what may seem like a private act carries ripple effects across multiple systems of the body. Some may ask, what about the risk of enlargement of the prostate, also known as benign prostatic hyperplasia? This is a common condition as men age, where the gland gradually grows larger and presses on the urinary tract, leading to frequent urination and discomfort. Does daily masturbation make this worse? The science says no. In fact, some evidence suggests that regular release may reduce the severity of symptoms by keeping the gland less congested. Enlargement is largely influenced by age and genetics, not by the frequency of ejaculation. So men should not fear that their prostate will wear out from daily activity. Rather, they should focus on lifestyle, diet, and medical checkups. Ladies and gentlemen, it is important to address the myths. For centuries, societies have attached guilt and shame to masturbation, painting it as something harmful, sinful, or weakening. These beliefs have no grounding in science. On the contrary, science shows that the body is designed to release, designed to maintain balance, and designed to use this function as a tool for health. Of course, like everything in life, requires balance, self-awareness, and responsibility. But to fear it is to ignore the very intelligence of human biology. So, what happens to the prostate of men who masturbate every day? The answer is not damage, not weakness, not decline. Instead, the prostate becomes a cleaner, healthier, and more active organ. It reduces the risk of cancer, lowers inflammation, improves circulation, supports hormonal balance, and promotes overall well-being. The act itself, when practiced with mindfulness, can be part of a man's path to longevity and strength. The deeper message here is this: knowledge replaces fear. When we understand how the body works, We step out of darkness and into empowerment. The prostate is not something to be ignored until a problem arises. It is something to be cared for, supported, and respected every single day. Daily masturbation may be one of the simplest, most natural ways to do just that. But always remember, it is just one piece of the puzzle. A strong body comes from a life lived with balance, nourishing foods, regular exercise, deep rest, loving relationships. A mind that chooses to live free from shame. Ladies and gentlemen, let us honor the intelligence of the human body. Let us embrace science over stigma, and let us carry forward this understanding that every part of us, including the prostate, is designed with wisdom. The question is not whether masturbation every day harms or heals. It is whether we are ready to live in harmony with the truth of our own biology. When we do, vitality and longevity are not distant dreams, they become daily realities. Ladies and gentlemen, health is not only about the food we eat or the exercises we perform, it is also about how deeply we understand the inner processes of our bodies. One subject that has been hidden in the shadows for centuries, wrapped in silence and often misunderstood, is masturbation and its effects on men's health. At the center of this discussion stands one small but powerful gland, the prostate. For many men, it is an organ they do not think about until something goes wrong, but the truth is that the prostate is working quietly every single day, shaping sexual health, urinary health, even long-term vitality. Today, guided by science and freed from myths, we will uncover what happens to the prostate of men who masturbate every day. Is it dangerous? Is it beneficial? Or is it simply part of the body's natural rhythm? By the end of this journey, you will see that understanding your body is not just about avoiding disease. It is about living with confidence, clarity, and strength. The prostate is often described as being about the size of a walnut, yet despite its small size, carries out functions that are vital to male reproductive health. It produces seminal fluid, the nourishing liquid that supports sperm during ejaculation. Without the prostate, reproduction would not be possible, but its role goes far beyond fertility. The gland sits right below the bladder, surrounding the urethra. This unique position means it influences both urination and sexual function. When we talk about daily masturbation, we are asking what happens when this gland is consistently stimulated and consistently emptied. Science has taken this question seriously. Research has shown that men who ejaculate more frequently may enjoy certain protective benefits, especially when it comes to reducing the risk of prostate cancer. In one landmark study, who ejaculated 21 or more times a month were found to have a lower risk of developing prostate cancer compared to those who ejaculated less often. The reasoning is clear: when fluid is allowed to sit inside the prostate for too long, it can collect toxins, old cells, and potentially harmful compounds. By releasing more often, the gland is essentially flushing itself out. Masturbation becomes a natural cleansing mechanism, reducing congestion and promoting healthier tissue over the long run. This flushing effect is not the only benefit. Regular ejaculation also stimulates circulation in the pelvic region. Just like exercise promotes blood flow in the muscles, sexual release promotes blood flow around the prostate and surrounding structures. Better circulation means oxygen and nutrients reach the gland more effectively, and waste products are cleared more efficiently. Over time, this can keep the gland more resilient and reduce the risk of chronic inflammation. In fact, prostatitis, or inflammation of the prostate, is one of the most common health issues men face. It often leads to pain, discomfort, and urinary difficulties. Regular release can act as a preventive measure, keeping fluids moving and discouraging inflammation. Now, let us address a common fear. Does daily masturbation harm testosterone levels or weaken a man's virility? The answer, supported by science, is no. Masturbation does not drain testosterone in the long term, nor does it make men weaker. Hormonal balance is maintained naturally, and in many cases, release actually reduces stress hormones, helping the body maintain stability. Men often confuse the temporary dip in energy after orgasm with permanent loss, but that is simply the body transitioning from arousal back to relaxation. In reality, healthy sexual activity, including masturbation, helps regulate hormones, improves sleep quality, and promotes emotional well-being, all of which contribute indirectly to prostate health. Stress, however, is a real enemy. Chronic stress floods the body with cortisol, disrupts sleep, and weakens the immune system. All of these factors create an environment that is less favorable for prostate health. Daily masturbation, approached healthily and without guilt, can serve as a stress reliever. The release of endorphins after orgasm calms the nervous system, reduces anxiety, and encourages better rest. With better rest comes better recovery, stronger immunity, and healthier balance across the body. Once again, we see that the benefits ripple outward, beyond the act itself, touching every system of health. But we must also discuss balance. While daily masturbation can have clear health benefits, when it turns into compulsion or addiction, the story changes. If a man uses it as an escape from responsibilities, relationships, or emotions, the act stops serving health and starts serving avoidance. The prostate may still benefit from the release, but the mind and emotional well-being may suffer. True health is holistic. It is not only about what happens in the gland, but also about the harmony between body, mind, and spirit. A healthy practice is one that integrates with a life of physical activity, nourishing diet, quality sleep, and meaningful relationships. What about aging and prostate enlargement, a condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia? As men grow older, the prostate naturally increases in size, pressing against the urethra and often leading to urinary difficulties. Some men fear that daily masturbation contributes to this enlargement. Science does not support this. Enlargement is primarily influenced by age and hormonal changes, not ejaculation frequency. In fact, some evidence suggests that regular release may ease urinary symptoms by reducing congestion in the gland. While it does not prevent enlargement entirely, it may make the condition more manageable. Let us also confront the myths that have haunted men for centuries. In many cultures, masturbation has been portrayed as harmful, weakening, or even sinful. These myths have caused men to carry unnecessary guilt and fear about a natural biological function. But when we look at science, we see none of these fears hold true. Masturbation does not damage the prostate. It does not deplete life force. It does not shorten lifespan. What it does is help maintain the body's balance, promote health, and give men a tool for managing stress and supporting their vitality. Knowledge, not shame, must be our guiding principle. So what happens to the prostate of men who masturbate every day? The reality is that daily release keeps the gland active, flushed, and healthy. It lowers the risk of cancer, reduces inflammation, supports circulation, and promotes hormonal stability. It encourages better sleep, relieves stress, and strengthens overall well-being. It is not something that weakens men. It is something that, when practiced with awareness, can help sustain strength. Yet the message here is bigger than just masturbation. The prostate is a symbol of how every part of our body deserves attention and respect. We cannot wait until disease forces us to care. We must care proactively, with knowledge and with balance. Just as we nourish our bodies with good food, exercise, and rest, we must also recognize the role of healthy sexual practices in long-term vitality. Ladies and gentlemen, the path forward is clear. Science has given us the answers, and now it is up to us to let go of fear and embrace truth. The prostate is not a weakness, it is not a burden, and it is not doomed to decline. It is a remarkable organ that responds to care, to balance, and to healthy habits. Daily masturbation, far from harming it, can be part of that care. But always remember, real health is not found in one habit alone. It is found in the harmony of the whole lifestyle. When body, mind, and spirit align, when knowledge replaces shame, when action replaces fear, men can step into a future of strength, clarity, and longevity. Ladies and gentlemen, let us celebrate the wisdom of our biology. Let us spread truth where myths have lingered for too long. Let us empower men everywhere to see their bodies not as mysteries or sources of shame, but as allies in the journey toward health. When we do that, the prostate is not just a gland, it becomes a symbol of how knowledge, care, and balance can transform lives.